Now, from the University of Okoboji, it's Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee.
Welcome to Okoboji Broadcast. Welcome back. It's school time. We're getting back here at the Dickinson County Museum. Mary Dreier is here with me. It's been since June, I think.
I think so. All I know, Jeff, is it's been far too long.
It has been too long.
It's been too long.
It's good to get back here, and I guess I'm ready for my physical. We're here in the medical section of the Dickinson County Museum.
We are. We had a great time at Way Back When. You know, we have our Way Back When groups that come in every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We've had a big increase this summer. We've had to move the group into the main exhibit hall because we've grown so much.
Well, isn't that wonderful?
It really is. And we've done a new thing this summer. We take the group on the road. We call it Way Back When on the road.
Okay.
And we go to different places around, and we bring in different speakers and things. And we do that just about once a month. Otherwise, we have our normal conversations.
And you talk wherever you're set up at, kind of what was historical there for Dickinson County.
Right. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be going to the city offices and see some of their big reproductions of some of our photographs.
Yes.
And we are going to meet with some of the city officials and learn about what kinds of historical records they have there. And it's going to be fun.
It's very cool.
And we get to meet in the council chambers. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Wait, I've been in those council chambers. It's always a fun time.
I don't think I have been.
Oh, you're in for the fun of your life, let me tell you.
Oh, I bet. So anyway, this morning at Way Back When, Frank had the idea that we should talk about doctors, which is a really fun thing to talk about for so many reasons, because the medical history of this county goes back before the very beginning of the county.
Really?
I bet you can't guess when the first doctor came here.
Well, if it goes back before the beginning of the county, I'm going to guess somewhere in the 1830s, maybe 1840s.
You're very optimistic.
Okay.
Yeah. No. The first regular physician that came here came in the summer of 1856. Pre-massacre.
Yes.
Pre-massacre. His name was Isaac Harriot, Harriot.
Okay.
He came from the East, like most everybody did back at the time.
Right.
And he came here. He met some guys up in Mankato, and they all decided to come here. There were the two Granger brothers, Mr. Snyder and Dr. Harriot, that all worked together to build a cottage. Or not a cottage, really, a cabin. Okay. And this cabin was on the north side of the Highway 71 bridge.
Okay.
And when I picture it kind of in the area of Malmarine.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly, but kind of in that area.
Okay.
And it was probably the first one built.
Wow.
So these guys were early.
So did they live there and also do medical work in there, or?
You know, what I've read, Jeff, and there isn't a whole lot to read about this, is that he was a bona fide physician, but I suspect, considering there were at this time 6 other cabins around the lake, that he probably didn't hang out a shingle, so to speak.
Okay.
You know, they were surviving. You know, this was the time when the closest place to get food or supplies of any kind was Fort Dodge, and it was a 2-day trip by wagon to get to Fort Dodge. So that their time was spent in survival, not in doctoring.
Happenstance that he was a physician living here. Right. Okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he was here at the time of the massacre. And so his life was shortened considerably by being here at the time of the massacre. He was one of the victims of the massacre.
Okay.
And so his tenure here was not real long. Another cool thing about Dr. Harriot is that he was planning on settling the ground that we know of as Dixon Beach.
Oh, really?
Now, that was the area that he took a shine to.
Okay.
And that's where he wanted to start out, was over by Dixon Beach, because it was so beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Dr. Isaac Harriot, first physician in Dickinson County in 1856. The second physician is someone that we've talked about.
And go ahead and tell me.
Let me give you a clue.
Okay.
Snidely Whiplash.
well, I know the cartoon character.
I know. We can all see the mustache and the and the black hat and the shifty eyes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and we had our own Snidely Whiplash here in the area back in the early days. This particular guy came here in 1857. Actually, in April of 1857. The massacre was in March of 1857. Okay. So right after the massacre. And his name was J.S. Prescott.
Ah, yes, right.
Yes, we've spoken of him.
We have spoken of Mr. Prescott, yes.
Yes. He was a man of many talents. He was a doctor. Mm-hmm. He was trained as a doctor. He didn't particularly like doctoring, so he went on and became a Methodist pastor.
Right.
He did that. And also, he wanted to create an institute of higher education here at the Lakes area. Now, when you think about the time that he came, 1857, there weren't a whole lot of people here. And so, it just makes me wonder about why he chose this area for this. He actually bought a bunch of ground over on the east side of East Lake. Tusculum is the name of the area. Do you ever hear that word anymore?
I don't think I do. I don't believe, no.
I think at one time there was even a little village there. I know that there was a country school at Tusculum.
Okay.
And my perception of where this is might not be accurate, but my perception is it was near the Narrows.
Oh, okay.
On the east side.
Yeah.
And he wanted to build this educational institute there. And he had also tried to get this built in Storm Lake. They didn't want it there, so it ended up being here. But it never really materialized.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about why. And I don't believe he actually worked as a doctor while he was here, even though he could have and was. And after he came, there were numerous doctors that came through the area in the after 1858 or 1857 or so.
Right.
And many of them, though, and I find this really interesting, many of them, going through the records, did not have formal education in being a doctor.
Right.
They picked up the skills. And they came here and hung up a shingle, and sometimes it was in a room in a cabin, sometimes it was in a business, whatever. But
which I think would have probably been more common as pioneering went on across the plains and into the west. That someone had picked up some doctoring skills, and you're the doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And at the same time, everybody had, all the settlers had their own store of supplies and their medicinals and that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
But I was going through the records up until say 1900. There were more than a dozen doctors here.
Okay.
More than a dozen. And that trend continued. All of the small towns had their doctors. Milford had a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the story of the Milford Hospital?
I don't believe I do.
I think it's a building you might recognize.
Okay.
It's not in its original location.
Okay.
It is the gift shop that is on Highway 71.
Okay.
North of Milford, south of Arnold's Park, across from where the new Quick Star is.
Okay.
Okay, there's a gift shop there.
Yeah, right.
Okay, with 3 different white houses.
Yep.
Well, the Milford Hospital is the one that's closest to Highway 71.
Oh, okay.
And when it was in Milford, it was actually, of course, closer to downtown. It was kind of at the north end of downtown.
Right.
I've seen aerial photos of early Milford, and it shows this building there.
Okay.
But I think it's kind of cool that the Milford Hospital is still around.
Yes, indeed.
And of course, Milford had many doctors, dentists, chiropractors, doctors of osteopathy through the years also. Mm-hmm. We learned this morning that there was a doctor in Terrell who was an osteopath, and for some reason he couldn't take patients to the Terrell Hospital, which leads me, of course, down the rabbit hole of, so Terrell had a hospital?
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got to look more into that.
Yeah.
There's a mystery afoot here. I can't believe that Terrell had a hospital back in the day.
Yeah.
But,
and of course, Spirit Lake had right over here.
Well, actually, the
or
earliest,
am I wrong on that?
The earliest hospital in Spirit Lake was on Jackson Avenue. Yes, about a block northeast of here.
On Jackson?
Yes, and the house still exists. It's on the southwest corner of an intersection.
Okay.
I believe it's off of 15th Street. It's kind of a mustard-colored house, big Victorian house.
Yes.
And there's a picket fence around it.
Yeah.
That was the first hospital.
Is that right?
It really is.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it started out as a hospital. Before that, it was the home of a nurse who worked for a doctor.
Okay.
And there was no hospital. And this nurse's husband died, and she was looking to get into more stuff. And so she opened her house as the hospital.
Wow.
It didn't last for real long because the facilities weren't adequate.
Sure.
Is the wording that I read about this. The second hospital in town is the one that you're probably thinking of.
Right here, Lake Street.
The L.E. Mansion,
Yes.
L.E. Francis
Yes.
Mansion,
Yes.
Senator Francis's
Yes.
mansion on Lake Street. It's standing still. It's also called the Pillars.
Yeah.
And it was purchased in, don't quote me on the date on this, around 1930 something.
Okay, all right.
By Dr. Rodewig Sr.
Yeah, yes.
We all know the doctors Rodewig,
Yes.
Senior and Junior.
Indeed.
He bought the hospital, or bought the mansion and converted it into a hospital.
Yeah.
At the same time, there was a clinic across the street, which was also in a house, and I believe that house is still standing also.
Wow.
Yeah, but can you imagine going into the Francis Mansion for as a hospital? I understand that there was a glorious stained glass window and a massive staircase going.
Have you ever been
upstairs.
in there? It's beautiful on the inside.
I have not,
Oh,
Jeff.
yes.
I would really love to go in there.
Yeah.
I really would. We had one of our participants in Way Back When today, when he was 12, had to have his appendix taken out
Ooh.
at the hospital, and it ended up being a 2-week stay. So he has fond memories of it. But he was describing the rooms, and like there was a ward and double rooms, no single rooms, where the surgical suite was, and it's
tough to get a feel for it, with what
really
we have
is.
now, of course.
It really is. It really is. But what fun to have a hospital in a mansion.
Yes.
And back from that era, we have some medical equipment here at the museum that we brought out this morning, and folks were just going, "Oh my gosh!"
Yes. Is that one of the? Can you imagine them using that type of conversation?
Yes. Okay. Yes. My personal favorite, Jeff, is this little piece here. It is the new, not the old, it's the new number 4 DD home medical apparatus. Now, this could be used to stimulate muscle action. And if that didn't cure you, it could also be used for schizophrenia.
Ah.
Yeah, so to stimulate muscle action or to cure schizophrenia.
Well, I don't have schizophrenia, and neither do I.
and in this lovely little box, you can do everything. The new number DD home medical apparatus.
And it's electrical.
Yes, with a Mesco dry cell battery.
Ah.
Yes. I just, yeah.
Well, if it's a Mesco battery, it's a good battery.
Yes. And we brought this out, too. Any ideas, Jeff?
Well, I looking in here, it looks like testing your blood pressure.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And actually, I was peeking down in the bottom of this, and I believe there's mercury in here. I'm seeing more of it now. It's like the old thermometers that used mercury.
Yeah, I'd use mercury.
Yeah, but this is a blood pressure
and I wonder how they tighten that. I see straps on the.
Yeah, there's a cuff here, and I didn't unwrap it.
Yeah.
But I don't see. There's a hose, so maybe there is one of those rubber bulb things. I don't know.
We need an old doctor to tell us exactly what that is then.
Yes. And if let's stump the chump.
I think I have an idea. I think I've seen something similar used on MASH where they didn't have anesthesia.
Yes. This is for an ether drip.
Yeah.
If you had to go under for surgery or whatever, they would drip drops of ether in this, and that was how you went to sleep.
And you hope the doctor didn't go to sleep too.
Yes. That would be distressing.
Yes, it would.
That would be very distressing. So those are just a few of the little tools that we found here.
Yeah.
We have quite a collection of medical devices here at the Dickinson County Museum. I actually remember when I was a little kid going to the doctor's office and him having a cabinet like this with the gauze and the applicators and the huge, humongous shot thing.
Yeah. Which always made you feel comfortable taking a look at that needle.
Not. Do you remember the smell of the doctor's office?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that alcohol smell.
Yeah, like antiseptic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They don't smell like that anymore.
No.
That's an improvement.
Yes, it is.
It really is an improvement. So we just wanted. Yes, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say you can stop here at the Dickinson County Museum and you can take a look at medicine through the years right here that happened in our very own county.
Right.
And be thankful that we progressed to where we are today.
Especially when you take a look at our especially joyful and fun-looking dentist drill from the 1920s. Yeah. I've had nightmares about that.
Yeah, nothing intimidating about that, that's for sure.
Not at all. A reminder, Jeff, that we've gone to our winter hours now. We're open Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Let's say fall. Can we say fall hours?
Yeah, fall is so much gentler, isn't it?
Thank you.
Our fall hours of Tuesday, we're open Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 3. And again, we have our Way Back When Wednesdays at 10 o'clock every Wednesday morning. And you're welcome to just come and go at will for those.
Any upcoming programs or anything, presentations?
We've been invited to participate in the outdoor classroom this Friday at the Dickinson County Nature Center. We've never done this before, and my understanding is that there'll be approximately 150 or so middle schoolers coming at various times during the day.
You're amongst the bravest people I know.
Well, no, not me. What I did is I invited my friend Terry Heiderbrink to come and talk about Native Americans.
I know Terry's pretty brave too.
Yeah, and he really knows his Native American stuff, and he's going to be talking about that.
Very good.
So we're very happy to do that.
Fun. Just keep reaching out into our community and teaching us about our many, many years of history right here in the Iowa Great Lakes. Mary, I always thank you, and thank you for having me back.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. It's the bright spot of my week.
And mine as well. It really is for me as well. Mary Dreier here with us today. Dickinson County Museum. History comes alive right here. We want to thank her for her time. Thank you for watching us right here on Okoboji Broadcast. Okoboji Broadcast from the studios at historic Arnold's Park Amusement Park is brought to you in part by West Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services. Advisor Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz. The headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday from 10 to 4. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner. Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake. Be Radiant Laser Skin Studio in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji.